As the clerk, I will call this meeting to order and take roll call. Committee Member Bruner?
Here.
Committee Member Bumpus?
Here.
Committee Member Benson?
Here.
Had to think about how to do that for a minute. Committee Member Williams?
Here.
Committee Member Sikich?
Here.
Committee Member Strunz? Here. Committee Member Henry? Here. All are present. I'm going to move item 3 up to item 2. And so today is the election of chairperson and vice chairperson. And so I will open the floor initially for the chairperson. I will ask 3 times for nomination. If there's more than one nomination, we will have to vote. Otherwise, it will be unanimous, and then we'll hand it over to the chairperson to do the vice chair. So at this time, the floor is open for chairperson. Are there any nominations for chairperson?
I nominate Paul Williams.
Are there any nominations for chairperson? Other than Paul Williams, 3rd time, are there any nominations for chairperson? Hearing none, I will close the floor. Chairperson Williams, you are the chair for the coming year. I will turn the meeting over to you.
Thank you. At this time, then, we'll take nominations for vice chair. Do we have nominations for a vice chair?
I was going to nominate someone over there.
I will nominate Mark Bumpus for vice chair. Do we have any other nominations? Any other nominations for vice chair? Seeing none, Mark?
Thank you.
Item number 2 has now been moved, so we'll do the approval of the minutes. Do we have any additions or corrections for the minutes? If not, do we have a motion to approve?
So move.
I'll second. We have a motion and a second to approve the minutes. Roll call, or should you just?
If everybody's
there we go.
equipment is working, you can vote.
Mine's not working.
Yours not working?
It says unknown error 401. I'm on council Wi-Fi. Just says encountered unexpected error.
Reboot.
Keep trying.
Yep.
How do you vote?
Yes.
How about Committee Member Bruner, is yours working? Do you have a vote on your screen?
No, it's not on my screen.
Okay.
Yes, I vote yes.
Okay, and Bumpus?
Yes.
And Benson? Okay. That passes unanimously.
Item number 4, requests and comments from the public regarding items on the agenda not requiring a public hearing. And we have a public hearing on the Old Fashioned Corner Pub at 1309 North Wright Road is the only other public hearing that we have. Is there anyone else here wishing to speak on anything on the agenda? Seeing none, we'll go on to item number 5. Original application and public hearing for a Class B intoxicating liquor and fermented malt beverage license for Janesville Gourmet Shop, LLC, doing business as Old Fashioned Corner Pub, 1309 North Wright Road. The applicant, could you come up to the podium and state your name and address for the record, please?
Good morning. My name is Arben Beniusini, 4149 East Ridge Drive, Janesville, Wisconsin.
Okay, and just for the public and for the committee, I'm sure you're aware of, this is the old Johnson Bank, correct?
Correct.
And what type of operation is this? I know you run, you have other restaurant or bars and restaurants of this type. Can you give us kind of a rundown on, is this going to be, you're affiliated with Citrus Cafe and the Whiskey Ranch, correct?
Correct, here in town.
So what are your plans? Is this more like the Citrus Cafe or more like the Whiskey Ranch?
In between.
In between.
In between. We want to specialize in classic old-fashioned subs and also old-fashioned drinks, meaning like the old-fashioned, classic old-fashioned, but maybe 15 different varieties. but opening up earlier than Old Whiskey Ranch. Whiskey Ranch currently operates from 11 a.m. to about midnight. And Citrus Cafe obviously opens up at 6 a.m. to 3. This one we want to do in between, probably about 9:30 a.m. till roughly 10 or 10:30 p.m.
Okay, because on your application, you had from 10 until 2.
That's, I believe, the hours of the liquor availability,
Yeah.
I was told, but our hours will most likely be 9:30 a.m. till about 10:30 p.m.
Committee members, George?
I guess I just have some questions. In February 2021, there was an application filed for Miss Tequila's Cantina at 400 West Centerway. And that never went forward once, and I believe that was approved at that time.
Correct.
And then in July of 2021, there was a request to transfer the license from 400 West Centerway to 1907 Center Avenue. And that was another location. And then nothing happened, and I think you withdrew the application for license. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay. So I guess my thing here is you're asking and applying for a license for 1309 North Wright Road. And I'm very familiar with that area, but I would take it by the drawing and stuff. There's quite a bit of work to be done in the interior of that building. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I guess, what's your timeline on this? Do you have a timeline, or that you're going to start your renovations and complete them, or?
Yes. After this meeting, I have to go see Vicki Miller, the next process as far as the building and whatnot.
So do you have a contractor and stuff lined up, or what?
I have 2 contractors lined up, and as to answer your question, we're hoping before November or December of this year to have it complete.
Okay, I mean, I just, want to make sure that you fully intend to go forward with this after those last 2 locations.
Yes. Well, this one's purchased, not leased, so we have no choice but to go forward.
Yeah, I realize that you had purchased it, but still at the same time, you can hold it and use it or try to resell it and make a profit. I understand you're a businessman. You're not going to let it go for less.
All intentions to go forward. As far as the ones you had mentioned, with the old Burger King, the pandemic, March 17th, 2020, after we were already approved, honestly scared us pretty well, being in the restaurant business. All of our places were closed down and we were doing carry out. So we pulled the plug. Then about a year later, when I applied again to transfer the license, that was a lease property, and it just fell apart towards the end of the lease of what we had negotiated and what was given to us in contract. So at that time, I figured it'd be better just to purchase something and go forward.
Okay. No, I understand, but you understand my concern, though, too.
Yes.
Because I'd like to see that building reused, and I'd like to see it go forward. And it looks like you have a really nice floor plan and stuff, but I also realize that it's going to take some renovation, so.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm satisfied. You've answered my questions. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I guess what are your plans for the drive-through area?
We'll have no drive-through as far as service, but we will be talking with third floor development team. Where the drive-through is now, it's for 3 drive-through lanes. We wanted to eliminate 2 of them, and where the one closest to the building is having just a nice little sit-down patio area. Approximately about 9 or 11 seatings, I believe, in the drawings.
Okay, because that's,
Not in the drawings, is it?
it's not in the drawings, and if your application, you'd have to come if we approve this, we're approving alcohol for sales within this building's walls. If you were going to put an outside patio, I'm assuming you would have to come back and get an extension of premises for the sale of the alcohol. So, question for the clerk, is this a $10,000 license then, or is?
Is this a reserve? No, this is a regular.
So we do, Liz, maybe if you could come up, and then Vicki, I've got some questions for you.
Yeah, the license appeared overnight.
Okay. Name and
So
address.
Elizabeth Lopez with the clerk's office.
This is a
So
regular
this
license?
is a regular license. I know we talked about it in, I believe, the May meeting, that there was a license turned in for the Pontiac that no longer had a license.
For which one?
Pontiac Center.
Okay.
So we had the license. I just hadn't updated the quota. That's why I emailed you guys with the revised quota, because I didn't update it when I first uploaded it, that there was a license available.
Okay. So this is a regular but full,
Yes, a
not
full
a restaurant,
license.
full license?
Yes,
Okay, thank you.
thanks.
Ms. Miller, could I ask you some questions?
Vicki Miller, Building Division.
You've had you've been able to kind of just take a quick look at the
Yes,
layout?
we haven't done a formal review of this yet because we don't have the submittal. I'm meeting with Benny after this meeting so that we can hopefully get that ball rolling. Originally, we thought the drive-up was gonna be in use, and that would have required a conditional use permit from the Plan Commission. It's my understanding now that that's no longer part of the plan, so he will not need to go through that process. He does need site plan review, though, because this is a change in use. And he will need to submit, in just a very quick look at his floor plan and this was the first time that I saw it, is when this ALAC submittal came through. It looks to me like he's probably gonna need some additional parking. Now, maybe when he takes off those two drive-through bays, there may be room on the west side of the property to add parking, but that's still to be determined.
So I guess just for the applicant and to, just for the committee, and anybody else that's listening to this, the committee could grant a license. However, it will not be issued until, things like this as far as the parking. If we grant the license, but there's no way that they can meet the parking requirement for it, then the clerk's office would not be issuing a license. So it's kind of, which one do you determine first? Do we determine, is it an acceptable site with enough parking, or do we at least temporarily grant the license but not issue it, and then let the review process go through? Correct? Clerk?
I would just add that it's not uncommon in the history of liquor licenses for companies to come forward seeking the license and giving their business plan ahead of doing construction, given it's a heck of an investment to make and then to come for the license. So it would make sense to put the cart in front of the horse this time.
Well, I just wanted to make sure that the committee and the applicant both were on the same page, that even if this committee does grant the license, it will not be issued until all the hurdles are jumped.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Any other questions for the applicant, Mark?
Well, based on the city not even being aware of the floor plan, and what's your time schedule on this?
We're hoping to be complete by November or December
Of what year?
of this year, 2022.
Well, the reason I say that is you've already had 2 failures in the past, in the current time. I understand times were different here, but in the meantime, if we were to grant you a license today, that takes it off the market for other applicants who may or may not be able to do it. So if in November you're not up and running because you have this and that, and the city hasn't approved your plan because of lack of parking and whatnot, then that license is off the market.
Correct.
So other people can't take advantage of that. So if we, Lori, if we grant the license and he fails to come up to some kind of an agreement by a working establishment by January 1st, can we just take it back without the lawyers and the $25,000 in lawyer fees? And
When the committee grants a license, you're basically giving them the license based on the facts that you were presented.
Right.
If he does not follow through and gets to the end of his extensions, then it
End
would
of the
be that.
extensions,
But
which is
prior
18
to prior to going all the way down that road, you would likely need to do a hearing.
Once it's granted, yes, he could come forward and request the extensions, such as the next item on the agenda for Quick Trip. Paul?
I think this is how most businesses have come to us lately, is through this exact same process, because they're just not going to move forward with applying for loans and signing construction contracts until they know they have all the licenses they need to run the business. I'm not concerned about the two other addresses where licenses were applied for during the pandemic. I think those were explained by the applicant, and they've got multiple restaurants. I think this is an established group here that have done. I mean, outside of Janesville, they've got other Whiskey Ranch restaurants as well. So I'm comfortable with the application. I think we are taking one license off the table, but we're going to do that no matter what. I don't think anyone's going to be able to open on day one. That's not reality. This is actually a pretty quick turnaround. So I'll support this, and I will make a motion that we forward a positive recommendation to the city council on the application. Let's see. For Janesville Gourmet Shop LLC, DBA Old Fashioned Corner Pub at 1309 North Wright Road.
I'll second that.
I just one comment. Can I even make a comment?
Sure, just
Sorry, I didn't know we were going to motion and everything else. Like he said, I know the history, I know everything else. A hair disappointed that in your plans there for a cigar bar that there's not an outside patio. I mean, you're getting a tobacco license, you're pushing this as that, and then it seems like kind of like a wrench that you don't have an outside patio in there. I can obviously overlook that because I know there's gonna be one, and just hopefully it works with Vicky Miller and the parking in there, and then how, just because I'm new up here, he's got it 10 a.m. to 2 a.m. but he says is out. Do we just do that for legal sake and not held to his time frames, or is it just how does that work?
I guess through the clerk's office, as far as, I know that we've had a few others that have had different times than what's allowed by state law. Do you make those notations on the applications, or how are those upheld?
The hours that a business can be open cannot be more permissive than what state law allows. So he would be constrained to what state law allows. So any times that the sale of alcohol is not allowed by the state law, we can make it more restrictive in our ordinance, but we can't make it less restrictive. So he would be bound to the same laws that any other establishment in the city is.
I think if we had this in an area that was closer to residential,
Yeah.
we may do that. but-
That was just his business plan, is to be open
Right.
from 9 to whatever. I didn't know if it had to be the same as what I saw in the paperwork.
Normally, no. We normally give them the flexibility to, if they decide, well, we want to change up our business, we want to change our hours of operation. I think normally, at least in my opinion, we've normally tried to be flexible on that.
I don't have a problem with the way the application is. He's got the application according to the law, and I guess it depends how he wants to run his business. If he doesn't want to open up until 9 o'clock or something, that's up to him. But there may be certain times of the year it would be advantageous to open up a little earlier or do something. So he's got himself covered there. The only thing, as far as my second, Councilmember Benson, is that I'd say we're approving the application as it as it's defined, and that, as the chair said, if he's going to, once he goes to building, if he's going to have a patio, et cetera, then he'd have to come back for an extension. Do you agree with that?
I agree, yeah, I think that's not up to us. I think that's what he would have to do per the ordinances.
Okay, I just want to
Yeah.
make sure that he understands that we're approving what we
Yep.
have today. Thank you.
Any other questions? If not, we have a motion by Benson and seconded by Bruner to approve or to forward a positive recommendation. Please vote.
Yes, Lori?
Committee Member Bumpus, how do you vote?
Yay.
Yes?
That passes unanimously.
Okay. And
Thank you.
enjoy your time on third floor.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Benny, this will go to City Council for approval on June 13th. It's here in this room at 6 PM. It's on the consent agenda and unlikely to be taken off, but you may want to be present just in,
I'll be here.
It's right towards the front of, the beginning of the meeting. Okay. All right. Item number 6, extension for Quick Trip, doing business as Quick Trip 1145, 1100 North Wright Road.
Dax
Name and-
Conley, real estate manager, Quick Trip, 1626 La Crosse, Wisconsin. This is another one, cart in front of the horse. In our due diligence, we look for all approvals. Liquor license was one of them for the attached liquor store. So we're looking for our first extension. We've kept our promise working through the Plan Commission of starting in 2022 instead of 2023 that we were looking for. You can see that there's been a lot of dirt moved and a big mound of dirt over there, so we're going. The store's looking to be completed around October 21st, that last couple weeks of October.
I thought it was interesting before the meeting I was talking. So the material for this building, as far as, we've talked to other people that are having problems getting materials. You basically have this building in a warehouse right at the moment,
Yep,
right?
it's warehouse ready to go. The one issues we do have are cooler sets, cooler doors, freezers, things that take chips and temperature chips. Those are things that we continue to work on, but we're set and ready to go at this store. So we're typically 2 years out with all of our materials for our projects.
Oh, wow. Any questions or?
I know this is the plan all along, and I saw the dirt moving out there, so I'll make a motion if appropriate.
Sure.
I'll move that we forward I guess, are we approving this, or is this a positive recommendation?
you would be.
We're approving?
Yeah, you don't have to go.
I can't get into our actual agenda, so that's why
Oh,
I'm
I'm
asking.
sorry. Yeah, extensions are given by ALAC.
Okay.
So,
I'll move that we approve this application for an extension.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the extension by Benson and Bruner. All in favor? Aye. We'll do it that way. Since our technology is not working.
Yes.
Anyone opposed? That passes unanimously.
Lori, could you tell me how long the extension is again, please?
the first one is 90?
They're all 90.
Okay.
When do they
I thought
start
the
getting
first
penalized?
one was 180.
No.
Yeah, I thought so too.
Yeah.
I thought the first one was 180 and the second and the third were 90.
After Lark, we made them longer?
I believe it's 180.
We will confirm with you through our office, but I believe the first one is 180, the second and the third are 90.
If it's 180,
Giving you two-
we won't be back.
Okay.
If not, you got two more, but,
Right.
never say never in this type of world that we've been living in the last couple of years. Thank you.
Thank you.
Item number 7, renewal of alcohol licenses. We got everybody in now?
Liz, do you want to report on whether or not everybody is in currently? Do we have any outstanding? I believe we had one.
Elizabeth Lopez from Clerk's Office. We pretty much have everyone in. There is some changes going on with Pizza Hut. So they're relinquishing some of their licenses and then getting just a Class B license, beer license for one of the locations. So there's some changes going on, so they're kind of still talking through it. So I don't have everything yet. So as far as everything else, everyone is in already, except for Pizza Hut.
I guess if they were changing their type of license that they have, wouldn't that have to come back before this?
Yes.
There's actually going to be an entire corporation change, so you'll be seeing a renewal of the existing corporation come through. Actually, no, we're gonna let that expire June 30th, and then the new corporation will come back to you in July.
Okay.
So, yeah, there's actually a change of ownership and everything going on with the Pizza Huts in town.
So I see a restaurant bar on this list that is, I think, closed.
Which one?
I think Lucky Ducky Diner is now closed.
I have been told that they're closed. So
Okay.
I haven't been told that they're relinquishing. I haven't been told they're closed. So they paid for a renewal, so I have to put them in as renewal.
Okay.
We do understand that there is discussions going on, but until we actually are told it within our office,
Gotcha. I didn't know how that worked.
All right, so there may be more follow-up on that one. Staff reports, police department, anything concerns?
Nothing this month, no.
Good. Clerk's office, you got the quota, where we're,
other than, did you want to make a motion to approve the licenses, or?
oh, I suppose.
Okay.
That would probably be
Okay.
good, wouldn't it? Or else we're not gonna have enough places to get alcohol in Janesville. I didn't really have a motion on here, so we need or I'll make a motion to approve the license as, renewal of the licenses as listed on page 1 of the renewal of liquor, alcohol license on the attached sheet.
Second.
We have a motion and a second, I guess, okay, from Benson. So please vote if it's working this time. No? Guess we'll have to do some.
Yes.
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 That seems to pass unanimously. Okay.
All right.
Then we'll go on to quota. So after today, the only Class B full licenses are the reserves left?
Right, at this exact moment, that is true. Once the Pizza Hut licenses expire, and the new corporation brings forward their applications, it is highly likely, I don't want to speak definite, that there may be a regular Class B come available, because it sounds like the direction they're going is beer and wine only.
Okay. Anything on the temporary?
No.
Well, I have a question.
Go ahead.
Lori, I was just wondering, I see that San Miguel de Elante is open for business, and they've got theirs going. That's one of the licenses we approved not too long ago. But is there anything going on with that Pearl of the Orient? I don't see anything happening out there. Have you heard anything from them?
I honestly haven't been paying attention, but I can get a follow-up for July.
Okay, I was just curious. They got a sign, they put up a sign on the building. That's the Old World Buffet on Milton Avenue. And like I say, San Miguel and Pearl of the Orient were, I think, approved pretty close to each other. And San Miguel went in there and renovated, and they're open for business. But I don't see anything happening on the Pearl of the Orient except there's a sign up there. So
Okay.
I was just curious.
I
get
can
a-
bring you back
we'll
an
get a
update in
follow-up.
July.
Okay, thank you.
And speaking of that, follow-up on licenses with conditions, anything from the
Nothing.
clerk's office? Anything else from the committee members? Seeing none, I guess we'll adjourn.